can do anything that we wanna do. Long as you got me, and I know I got you. We a team. No in between.
So welcome, Danya. Welcome. You're turning 60.
In September.
In September. I had a hard time at 60. And it's because I think of my grandparents being in their 60s and them retiring. And it was a very different time. And now I'm over the hump. I'm 63. I'm loving it. Are you nervous about it?
Honestly, I'm really kind of excited about it. I have a number of friends who've already turned 60. I have some friends who didn't get to turn 60.
So tell me about that, because I know you lost a friend suddenly.
She was not feeling well. We had plans to go out on that Saturday night. We got a phone call that they weren't going to make it. So I called in the morning to see what they ended up doing, and they were in the ER. Unfortunately, several months later, she passed. That just completely shattered all the perceptions that I had about many things, including what it was going to look like in the future, who my husband and I were going to spend our time with, how incredibly fragile and random some of the things that happen in life are, and how damn lucky we are every day.
Was that the first person that was around your age to die?
No, but it was the first female friend that I had that had kind of traveled the unmarried, newly married, baby, house kind of
Yeah, you raised
thing.
your kids together. Right. Sister from another mother.
Sister from another mother.
Right. When you say it just turned you upside down, what was the aftermath?
You know, the pretend world that we all live in where like we're totally good and, you know, like we look like this, for example, all the time. All the smoke and mirrors stuff for me just disappeared.
That also happens when you get older, I think, too. You stop caring, and not caring like, I'm going to let myself go. I stopped caring what other people thought. And I also felt much more centered in what was my truth, what was important to me.
It was slowly starting to happen, but that was the line of demarcation for me of we're not all going to get to 60 or 65 or see our children get married or have grandchildren. I did some real evaluation and I developed what I refer to as my team: therapist, coach, plastic surgeon.
The gang's all here.
Yeah, bringing it all in.
Bringing it all in.
I think that until that happens to you, really, as you know, it's all good. You know, you're fine.
Well, you kind of feel like, I'm feeling great. I mean, you look great, got lots of energy, you're doing a million things. So it's kind of like, well, age hasn't caught up to me. You know, you think the inside is the same as the outside, and it's not. That's a big freaking wake-up call.
For everything terrible, you have to find the silver lining. So I'm eternally grateful for the ability to turn 60 and to be doing it with the women that are my sisters by choice.
Which is the book that you're researching right now, right?
Yes.
Which has to do with
sisterless women. Those of us that were not fortunate enough to have sisters by blood, but who choose the sisters that we go through life with. And I've been extremely fortunate with the women that are in my life. They are an amazing bunch, and they come from all over, and they're doing different things, and I found them at different points in my life. And I've collected enough of them that they all know each other now, and they are, without question, my support system and an amazing group of women.
I get the sense, somebody called me a friend collector, and I get the sense that you're that same.
I am.
There's many people that keep their friends separate. They're saying, I'm having dinner with so-and-so and so-and-so, and I'm like, why are you not inviting me? You know, it's not like some secret society. How did the idea of the book come up?
I was having a conversation with another friend of mine who has sisters, and we started to talk about how fortunate they are to have their sisters. When you have a secret, especially when you're young, or a question that's very intimate and private, if you don't have sisters, where do you go with that? And I remember when my daughters, who are twins, watching them and watching them share the intimacies in their lives, and knowing that as the mom, there were lots of things I was never going to know because they had each other. So I always knew that I was missing something.
Right.
That like I didn't get to grow up with that.
Lorraine, who's my dear, dear friend, she had her ankle replaced, and her sister was there for like 2 weeks and then left, and she had the berries and the yogurt, and then her husband took over, and Chris is like the best husband in the whole world, but she's like, it's just not the same. She's like, I want my sister back.
Exactly.
So, right.
It's like when you have a baby. You know, your husband wants to do everything right, and they're so generous in spirit, but they don't have a vagina, and they didn't have a baby.
It's just different.
It's different.
It's different. Not having had a sister, tell me how you kind of put your tribe together, and what does it mean to you?
I got extremely fortunate. As a young woman, I didn't have a lot of female friends. And when I was about 12, we moved. And for the first time, I made female friends that I really like. One of whom, still to this day, is one of my closest, dearest friends.
So what do they give you?
So they supply me with the mirror that we all need when we need to hear the truth, and the truth might not be something we're looking forward to hearing.
But you know it's because they love you.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And that, to your point, of when someone is talking to you about a dinner they're having that they are not inviting you to.
Right.
If I'm going with woman A and I'm talking to woman B and they maybe know each other or don't know each other, I'm inviting them.
Right.
Because I feel like the women that are in my group, each has something so unique and wonderful to offer.
Absolutely.
That if we could share that, it's kind of like good eye cream, right? There's always some woman who has the best eyes, and she's like, oh, it's just natural.
Right.
Lies,
No,
lies, lies.
lies,
You
lies.
know that there's some plastic surgeon or some cream or some something.
There's been incidents that have happened, and you realize that some people can only show up in the ways that they can show up. They love you, but you have to accept that that's just who they are. But then there's other people that just kind of can't show up. They're not going to share that eye cream. But it's a generosity of spirit.
And it's exactly what it is.
It's a generosity of spirit to make sure that somebody's not alone, to make sure that they're joining in. And it's also to be like when you were saying that mirror, that somebody's willing to tell you the truth. I want to be able to be honest with my friends, but the friends peel off.
Yeah,
There's
a shedding.
There's a shedding, and I think there's something, and this would be interesting for your book. I think it's like a 7-year, like friendships.
The cycle.
It's right. It's the 7-year itch in a marriage, but there's probably a 7-year cycle of a friendship too, where you kind of outgrow, but people change. And speaking about changing, we were talking about your marriage. You've been married for
31 and a half years.
31 and a half years.
You don't end up 30 years later with the person you married. The 60-year-old spouse that you met at 26, 27, 28 is generally very different than the 28-year-old person you met.
And you hope that you've grown in tandem.
Exactly.
Right.
And not necessarily in the same ways.
What was it in him that you saw? You're not married to the same person at 60. Things that are kind of tried and true that you must have seen early on.
I wish that was true, Ann.
You didn't.
It's not.
You were hot for him. That was it.
It was lusty and the timing worked.
I mean, I think about the sisters and the sisterhood of sharing and saying, I'm not okay. Sharing and saying, I'm exhausted, or this is what's really happening and I'm melting down, and that safe place. I'm sure that you can cry with your husband. There's nothing better than crying to your sister or crying to your best girlfriend.
Without question.
I mean, and it's ugly crying. It's ugly crying.
It's always
okay,
ugly crying. They tell you you're ugly when you're ugly crying. Oh, you look really bad.
It must be really bad. We did a Wise and Wonderful weekend. There were 32 women. It was being in our pajamas. It was real. Like, we stood up in front of that room. It was like an AA meeting, but on steroids, you know? Like, really getting real and saying, this is what's going on. This is how I'm feeling. It was so cathartic, and everybody just can't wait to get back. But that power of women, and especially older women, it takes me through to the next year. I loved your idea of sisterhood and sisterless women. We need to share our friends. We need to have dinner.
We do. Thank you so much for doing this. It was so good to see you.
Of course. Perfect.